What is up, you guys? Marty McFly coming at you, bringing you guys the merch. So take a trip with me. This time we're going to go hit up another record store, and it is one of my favorite record stores outside of the Sunshine State. We are going to Rolling Stones Records in Chicago, Illinois. Stay tuned. Welcome back, you guys. Martin McFly coming at you, bringing you guys some more merch. That is right. We're going to talk about some vinyl, some CDs. I had a great trip in Chicago, a great city. Always have a wonderful time when I go there. Great food, good people. Except I've noticed after about 8:30 p.m., the city kind of starts to look like Mad Max a little bit. So I've noticed compared to when I started going to Chicago about 15 years ago, it's gotten a little bit more chaotic, especially as soon as night falls. So we had a great trip, though. Got to go to the Society of Critical Care Medicine convention, as well as some courses that they were offering out there. But when I go to Chicago, I always have to hit up a couple places. This time I was not able to go to the Exchange or Reckless Records, but on this case I was able to stop over and hit up Rolling Stones Records, which is one of my favorite record stores outside of the Sunshine State. This is truly a great record store for CDs and physical media. I would say their vinyl selection as far as heavy metals goes is a little bit on the limited side, and I noticed that really hasn't changed too much over the years. It's just a great store to visit, whether you want heavy metal coffee mugs, CDs, if you're into Blu-ray, steelbooks, DVDs, and they have a massive horror section. If you like the stuff that Kino and Arrow and Vinegar Syndrome and some of these like boutique labels that are producing horror movies, that is a great shop to go into for physical media. But I would say when it comes to the music, the reason I go is because of their heavy metal CD selection. Their vinyl selection's always been small, but I still managed to pick up some gems that I'm really excited about. But what I've noticed is every time I go in there, they are always stocked up on new heavy metal CDs. And there's not a lot of shops doing that these days, and it's really unfortunate. But in this case, Rolling Stones, our knight in shining armor, arguably our best foot forward in the heavy metal CD department, Rolling Stones has us. I was thinking about other places I've been to that have great heavy metal CD selections. There's a big chain in the Midwest, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Illinois, parts of Indiana called The Exchange. And they're actually starting to get better with their vinyl selections. I picked up a lot of great vinyl from them. Most notably, the ones I've found the most stuff at were the ones in Ohio, whether it's, like Cleveland, Cincinnati, not so much Columbus. Columbus still doesn't have an Exchange yet. Now, there's a couple of other smaller cities like Medina and... oh my goodness, and Cuyahoga Falls, I would say, is probably still the best Exchange I've ever been to for heavy metal CDs and heavy metal vinyl in general, especially their used selection. I know things have changed regarding the Exchange stores. Some of them have closed down, unfortunately, but the Cuyahoga Falls one has always had an amazing selection of dollar CDs, $5, $2.50, each individually set up, and then an entire section dedicated to heavy metal. Absolutely incredible. Well, we went to Rolling Stones, and this is one of the great heavy metal CD stores. Next to Monsters Music, which is just outside of Charleston, Clearwater Records, which is in Clearwater, Florida. Amazing used heavy metal CD selection. Well, we did get some vinyl, so I'll go to that before I get to the CDs. Now, Chiodos, All's Well That Ends Well. If you're thinking, that doesn't look like the original label, it's because it's not. This is actually the 20th anniversary of All's Well That Ends Well by Chiodos. Recorded, remastered, vocals, guitars, everything redone. It sounds incredible. If you loved the original, which I certainly did, and you wanted maybe a little bit of a heavier sounding album, gruffier vocals, and something that doesn't sound as prepubescent as the original did, this is the one for you. It's just such a fun album. I love both versions. I really did enjoy the original. That's what I grew up on, but oh my gosh, they did such a phenomenal job with the re-recording. I have not been able to stop listening to it. And allow me, if you'll allow me, to get this gorgeous vinyl out for you guys, because this is one where I do need to show it. But of course, this is the cover, obviously with the purple motif compared to the original. And then, boom, look at that. So this gorgeous marble swirl with like a sky blue, hints of pink. Absolutely beautiful. And it sounds great. I would say they really spent a lot of time with the mastering and the engineering. The sound quality of this is wonderful. I'm really glad they did this. It's not something that any of us really expected, especially listening to this band for such a long time. I didn't expect that they were going to repress and remake this album. I didn't even know they were doing it until me and Logan just happened to be online. You know, the great Logan. He's been mentioned on this channel a few times. He was the one who pointed it out to me because we were both like, I think we were both we were drinking beer at a beer festival. And he goes, oh, they're redoing All's Well That Ends Well. I was like, wait, what? And sure enough, they repressed it, and it sounds incredible. Unlike the last two Beartooth albums, which I think are fantastic albums. However, I think the sound and engineering quality has gone to absolute shite when it comes to the last two Beartooth albums. Love Caleb Shomo, love what he did with Attack Attack towards the end, and I love what he did with the Sickness EP. Holy crap. You want to talk about coming out of the gate and creating a blisteringly heavy and well-made EP, and that's what Caleb Shomo did. I like this newer stuff that he's doing. I just want someone else to engineer the albums. The way he used to engineer stuff was heavy bass, heavy mid, and soaring vocals over the top, but with a sound that can break speakers, and that's how I think Beartooth should sound. The last two albums, they've really taken that back. They basically made treble high, highs high, and zero bass, and zero anything. And the mid is even gone. And when you hear the breakdowns in the newest album, you can't feel them. I feel like the whole point of the breakdown is to feel them. Well, not with Chiodos. With the newest Chiodos, they left everything in, put it all on the table, and they created a blisteringly good album. Now, I did pick up one more thing. This is something I've been looking for a long time. I didn't want to buy it on Amazon because this is something I wanted to support a store if somebody had it. And it just took me a while, but this is one of my... I really enjoyed this album by Megadeth. The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. This album is just a blast from finish to end. Finish to end? Yes. Words. Words are hard today, as you know me. From beginning to end, the songs, I think, are well written, great guitar work, great vocals, great melodies. I think Megadeth did a really, really good job with this album. I know their final record, which really shocked the heck out of me and everybody else, we expected to be something different. The new record's pretty good. It's just a hard throwback to 80s rock and metal. And that is exactly it is. It is not fast-paced. There's some great tracks on there. I think the best tracks... Ooh, man. Even the best tracks on the newest record are all over the place, but I think the best tracks are in the latter half of the album. That is just how I feel. The first half is kind of like... It's getting out there, it's kind of cheesy, but it's giving you like this great 80s vibe. And I think that's where Dave Mustaine was going with this final album. He wanted to do a final send-off and homage to 80s rock and metal. And I think he accomplished that. And in that case, I think it's a good album. This, however, is straight up thrash metal, and that's why I love this. Now, a lot of people gave this a lot of flack because Night Stalkers has a cameo by Ice-T, and, you know, they give you like the kind of like rappy, hip-hoppy edge to it. But I think they did it well. It wasn't overbearing, and I think it just came out like a great song. So I really, really, really enjoy this album. This is, of course, 2 LPs on 180 gram. I did not get the one with the bonus 7-inch. Didn't really need it. I mean, it's the same, one of the same tracks and just a live track. Didn't really need it, so I wanted to be able to pick this up and take it home. So I'm glad I got it. And last but not least, the CDs. The biggest reason why I love Rolling Stones in Chicago so much is because of this. I did not know this album even got a CD press because it came out in Europe on Napalm Records. It's coming from the ashes of one of my favorite bands, Sonic Syndicate, who, oh God, when the brothers left and then they got the new lead singer and it turned into a Euro pop band. I don't know what happened to Sonic Syndicate toward the end. I did not enjoy it. And I feel bad saying that because Sonic Syndicate used to be one of my favorite bands. But the Euro pop project it turned into, it's worse than what Emarosa did, because Emarosa went from Johnny Craig era to like the Versus era, which was good, and then it turned into a Michael Jackson Prince like copy project, and I don't enjoy it at all. I did not like the newest Emarosa, I guess you could say. Anything after Versus, I really have not enjoyed what they've done. And that's okay. Not everyone has to like it. I just don't enjoy the new Emarosa. Like, I wish they would just change the band title and maybe someone else could take over Emarosa and make it sound like Emarosa again. Because it's not rock and post-hardcore or, you know, the Johnny Craig era of music anymore. It's something Prince side project thing. It's kind of like what Slaves did when Slaves had to change their name and then they got the guy from American Idol and now that sounds like a pop project. So it's just like you can't win either way. However, From the Ashes of Sonic Syndicate is the Unguided. I did not know this even had a CD press of it. I had to buy it on iTunes because I couldn't find it anywhere. So this is the Unguided Fragile Immortality. Oh man, what a great album. But basically, if you think about Sonic Syndicate and then what happened after they left and they created a new Sonic Syndicate, that's this band. Same guys, amazing band. Short-lived because unfortunately the guys that created this, well, one of the guys that created this apparently can't be in bands for too long. That's just the way it works in the heavy metal world. But absolutely love this record. $6.99. No. For a European Napalm record label that wasn't even released in the United States for $6.99, I'm your boy. Count me in. This band I'd never even heard of, and I feel like the name is so typical that I was like, how have I not heard of a band called this? Why hasn't someone called their band this? But this is the newest effort from Napalm Records. This is Crimson Shadows. So they played at Wacken. They were like the Wacken Battle of the Bands winner for 2013, and I can see why. They're incredible. It's basically like, think of like Hammerfall on steroids. Hammerfall with a mixture of Haunt and Havoc, all of them mixed together. Maybe a little bit of like... oh my gosh, what was that other band called? They're called Crimson something now too. Can't think of the name of it. Anyway, Hammerfall, Haunt with like, triumphant power metal and a little bit of Halloween. That's basically what Crimson Shadows is. It's a great project. I'm really bummed I never heard of them until now because they have other records out. And $6.99. I really could not do wrong with these guys at Rolling Stones. I mean, they've done a great job. Oh, and I didn't realize this is got Danny Evans from Ailstorm. So a little bit of that triumphantness of Ailstorm is a little bit of what we get on this record too. And this is another one. I mean, these are the guys that we used to see at Warped Tour. They used to play like underground shows because they were on a Christian label. But when they weren't on Face Down and they weren't doing the Christian stuff, they were on In Vogue. But Being as an Ocean, $6.99. Heck yeah, it's coming home with Daddy. So if you're not familiar with these guys, this is like a Christian hardcore project with more spoken word poetry vocals, I would say, as opposed to just your stereotypical screams and cleans. There is that as well, but this is like a melodic hardcore project with a lot of spoken word poetry type stuff that you would kind of expect out of like, I mean, not so much as like Touche Amore, but some of the bands of that era is what you can kind of explain with this band. So think of like melodic hardcore with a little bit of like Touche Amore in it. But really, really great project. They've released a ton of great albums, and they actually recently broke up, but glad to have this for $6.99 on CD. I love CDs. I still do. They feel good. It makes me happy. It feels like a physical void. Like with streaming that you don't get, I still like having a CD. Vinyl is much more easier to get now, I'd say, because more bands are producing on vinyl, but especially if it goes to Amazon. But it is nice to have a CD copy. And then my favorite purchase from this whole trip, I did not think I'd be able to grab a CD copy of this. In the great domain of black metal, there is like melodic, how do you want to call it? Like triumphant melodic black metal. That is the only way I can explain this band. It's like if you took the band Amorphous and made them black metal, that's what this is. And this is Borknagar Fall, their newest record. Unbelievable. It came out 2024 off of Century Media Records. This was just such an odd discovery. I remember seeing a copy of their vinyl online a couple of years ago from my most favorite album by them, which has the song Light, which is probably, if not the first track off of that album, are probably my favorite Borknagar album songs of all time. This is just right up there, and it's just so cool to see this in a flipping record store. European label, band that, these guys don't really play in the United States, but the only way you can really listen to it, you got to go find a hard copy, or you got to go to Europe, or you got to go just stream them. And this is, don't get me wrong, I enjoy a lot of black metal too, but I love this style where they incorporate the D beats of black metal with a little bit more of the witchy vocals that you expect out of, some of the black metal acts, especially if you're thinking, like when you're going into a black metal band, you're getting that witchy, scratchy, high-pitched, painful vocals, but then you're having the most beautiful cleans I've heard in heavy metal in a long time. Very thoughtful, very beautiful, melancholic and melodic cleans, soaring high above the witchy, harsh, pain-stricken screams and uncleans that you get from the majority of black metal. And there's so many great black metal projects that I genuinely love. Like, but what they did with this is just a perfect project to me. And I'm so glad to be able to find this on CD. You know, it's weird because I was trying to think of like Woods of Desolation, and if I could explain that style of black metal, but with like the cleans of Amorphis, that's what you're getting with this. And I would say the newest Amorphis album is closest probably to this band. You know, and even that earlier era with like Eclipse and Skyforger and all that stuff mixed with black metal, that's what you're getting with this. So this really is a fantastic project. If you've never heard of Borknagar, please do. Check them out. Every song on here has been great. Moon is incredible. Nordic Anthem is fantastic. Oh my god, just what a great CD. I'm so glad to have that. And anyway, that is it from my trip to Chicago. I got a couple more videos for you guys coming up. I digress. We're going to talk about one more CD on the next video. Hope to see you guys soon. If you can, I know it's getting harder on YouTube, especially for the little guy to just get their name out there, get their page out there, and I want to meet more people. I want to talk to more people, and that's what this project is all about. So if you can give me a like, comment, subscribe, if you can hype this video, do anything just to make the channel do a little bit better, I'd really appreciate it. So I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are taking care of each other, and peace.